to everyone. Today we shall be seeing a different subject on facing the challenges of modern times. We all know that this is an age of challenges, I would say. And it's also an age of uncertainty. Anything can happen anytime. We may not have thought about it and things start happening. So life in the present time, I would say, is like a sea-going adventure. Just like Christopher Columbus, when he started out to chart some new territories in the unknown seas. He set out on this journey into the ocean, and he was not aware of the type of journey he was undertaking. He had no definite maps at that time, and he set out on the journey. He was not even aware of the turbulence that he would be going through, the storms and hurricanes that he might have to face. He was not even aware of the wild sea creatures, and neither his boat was prepared to face those storms and hurricanes or the sharks and the whales. He was not even aware of the silently moving undercurrents. The only thing he had with him was a compass that gave him a constant direction and told him in which direction he is heading for. And with the help of this compass, he was successful to a certain extent. Life is also such in the present time. We are also living in this age of uncertainty, and we have also set out into the unknown future to chart some new territories. And we have no definite maps for that uncertain future. We are not even aware of the types of storms and hurricanes that we might have to face and go through. Hardly we are prepared for that as well. We are not even aware of the types of creatures that may be after us in the future times. The sharks and the whales. We are hardly aware of the silently moving undercurrents within our own life of weaknesses. And the worst part is, we do not even have a compass that can tell us whether we are moving in the right direction or not. So we are totally at the mercy of, yes? We are totally at the mercy of God. And who is God? There are so many gods in today's world. Who is God? Nobody knows it. Where is He? We don't know Him. Every person has his own opinion about God. So how can we rely on that opinion? So we are totally at the mercy of, yes? Fate. And who creates fate? Us. We create fate. Destiny is in our hands. So we are totally at the mercy of selves. And how much are we able to handle ourselves We get up early in the morning. We are in a very good mood. An hour passes by. Somebody calls up, shares some information, really stresses up our minds. Another hour passes by. We take up the newspaper, get some information from there, really frustrates us. Another hour passes by, we go to our office, somebody shares something good, we feel happy. Another hour passes by, somebody behaves in a peculiar manner with us and we really get angry. Another hour passes by, somebody says something which really upsets us, disturbs us. So every hour, our state of mind is controlled by whom? Where is the remote control? Who controls my state of mind? Yes? Where is the remote control?
In other people's hands.
In the hands of others. Situations, problems, people are controlling my state of mind. So we are totally at the mercy of
Others.
Nowadays, in today's world, small children, they know. They have the remote control of their parents. You know? They know if we share this information, it's really going to upset them. They'll keep quiet. They know if we share this information, they'll get happy. So they are controlling our state of mind. So we have no control on ourselves. And we want to chart new territories in this challenging world. How can we do that? So, in today's world, it is said that there are 3 key propositions. And which are those 3 key propositions? The first is, there is no turning back. Things are not going to go back to those stable patterns of the past. Forget it. As we find that the world is characterized by so many things, global competition. Everywhere we find competition. And to survive ourselves in this competitive world, what do we need? To survive in this competitive world, what do we need? Yes? Anyone? Let it be an interactive session. I don't want to give you a lecture. I want your participation. Okay? So, in this competitive world, if we want to survive, what do we have to do? What do we have to have? We have to have something? Huh? We have to connect where? We have to connect to the world. We have to? We have to have technology. Very good. Okay? And technology is changing very fast. Every year you find something new coming up. And to adapt ourselves with the changing technology is another great challenge. So, what do we need to have to survive in this competitive world? It reminds me of a story. Let me tell you a story. That once there were 2 people walking through a jungle. One was an African, another one was an American. As they were walking through the jungle, suddenly they heard a roar of a lion. So the African took off his jungle boots and put on his running shoes. Seeing this, the American asked him with great astonishment, "What do you think of yourself? Are you going to run faster than the lion?" So the African said, "I don't think so. I can run faster than the lion. But at least I can run faster than you." Yes? Intelligent, isn't it? So, to survive in this competitive world, what do we need? Huh?
Open mind.
Open mind? What do we need?
Cleverness.
Huh?
Cleverness.
Cleverness. Is that cleverness? No. That is the need of the hour. You know, he wants to survive. The Americans have best technology shoes, but he forgot to bring them. He thought, what is the need of shoes? Running shoes in the jungle. So he becomes a victim of the lion. And the African had ordinary shoes, but he had great presence of mind. Anything can happen anytime. So he put on his tennis shoes and started running, and he survived. So to survive in this competitive world, what do we need? Presence of mind. We may have technology, we may have talents, we may have skills, but if we don't use them at the right time, it is going to be difficult for us to survive. So, there is no turning back. Revolutionary new technologies are coming in such a way, and to adapt ourselves with the changing technology, disruptive social transitions, uncertainty, increasing change, increasing complexity, accelerating change, and many others we can go on listing there. So there is no turning back. We have to face all these challenges. And at the same time, we need to have a great presence of mind. If we are confused, we are stressed, burnt out of energy, we will not be able to survive in these changing times. This is a great challenge. The second is, so in these changing times, and it is seen that the people who will succeed will have a very highly developed sense of where they are headed to and what they stand for. As old reference points will fall away and there is a need to steer, to find new bearings to steer through the turbulence. There is great turbulence coming in the future times. So we need to find some new bearings on which we can move along safely. These are the bearings that we need. Where am I headed to and what do I stand for? What is my aim of life? And in order to reach that aim, to reach that goal, what are the values? What do I stand for? If I'm going to take up weaknesses, take the support of weaknesses, am I going to reach that goal? Impossible. We cannot reach that goal. Supposing I want to climb first stair to the first floor, and the ladder that I take up is a weak ladder. Any time it can break and fall. Will I reach my destination? No way. Similarly, everyone in today's world wants to be successful. Success is the goal that they have for themselves. But they've adopted the support of weaknesses in life. Anger, agitation, irritation, ego. And with these weaknesses, is he going to achieve success? No way. So these are the bearings. Where am I headed to and what do I stand for? It reminds me of a beautiful incident that where I come from, Mount Abu, where our headquarters is, Brahma Kumari's headquarters. We have a very big complex, spread it in about 100 acres of land. And from time to time, we have these trainings going on. And normally we give these trainings to corporate houses, companies. They send their people to take this training. But once we had organized this training for individuals, any individual who wanted to participate, many people had come to participate in this training. It was a full-fledged training. Today we are just having one session. But the whole training is about 16 sessions. And we have many workshops and many exercises that we do in this training. So it was a full 5-day training, in-house training. There was one young man who came from one of the nearest towns, that is Ahmedabad. And when he came, he was so confused in his life. So confused. Somebody just told him, why don't you join this training? Maybe you get something for your life, any direction for your life. So he happened to land up there. As he was going through the training, his face was changing. We could see he was changing. And then on the last day, in the feedback session, he shared his experience. And he said he was coming from a family which was a lawyer's family. Everybody from the grandfather who was a judge, father, uncles, brothers, sisters, all in the same business. And they had a family vision that we should be known as the lawyer's family in the whole city. So everybody was forced to get into this business of law. Now this young man, being the youngest member of the family, was also asked to get into the law college, study law, and fulfill the family vision that everyone should contact us because we inherit law in our lives. Now this person was somehow not comfortable. So he resisted going to the law college, but because everybody started pressure, no, you should join law college. You should fulfill the family vision. Somehow very reluctantly he joined the law college, but as he was studying law, he was getting stressed. He was not at all comfortable in studying law. When he was in the final year, there was so much of frustration that he was going through, and that is why he came to Mount Abu. Now, during the training, we have a program, we have an exercise which we call as the SWOT analysis. And the SWOT analysis is, some of you might know about SWOT, some of you might not know. SWOT is S-W-O-T, SWOT analysis. And SWOT means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A person has to know where his strength is, where his weaknesses are. So on the basis of the strengths, he can at least have an idea where the opportunities are for him. And because of this weakness, if he don't take care of them, then there will be threats in his life. His life is threatened. So when he did this SWOT analysis, personal SWOT analysis, we have a set of questions that we ask normally to people so that it helps them to identify where their strengths and weaknesses are. So, when he found out where his strength is and what his weakness is, he realized that he was going in a wrong direction. And he told in his feedback that he identified that his most powerful strength was truthfulness. And he cannot speak lies. Whenever he would speak a lie, his face would get so red that anybody can identify that he is speaking a lie. Now supposing this person get into the business of law, what will happen? He is totally moving against his value system. So he was getting stressed. And then he realized that he was the only one different in the family. All the brothers and sisters were on, their nature were like the father. And this young boy who was always under the canopy of her mother, and her mother was coming from a village, very innocent lady, very pure, pious lady. So always being in the company of the mother, this child developed the qualities of a mother. So he was not able to speak lies. So he realized these are not the right bearings that he's taking. Because his goal is something else. And the bearings are different. It is going to create more turbulence for him. So when he realized that he's moving in a wrong direction, he went home, he gathered his family members and showed them all the incidents. Whenever he spoke a lie, he was caught. And the family members started realizing, yes, he's moving in a wrong direction. He's moving against his value system. So each one of us is blessed with a value system when we are born. And this value system are the bearings on which we have to roll upon in life and reach our goal. But if our goal is something else, our value system are not supporting that goal, then there is always going to be stress created in life. So, whenever you experience stress, it means you're moving in a wrong direction. If there is frustration created, it means you're moving in a wrong direction. So, find bearings. Which are your bearings on which you have to roll upon? So that without any stress, you reach your goal. And the third is, different skills are required for the present environment. And these new different capabilities are required to be effective in this environment. These are not the skills learnt at school. But these are self-managing skills like intuition. Therefore it is said, the modern management gurus are saying, that in the future times, you will have to keep your radar, your body senses active, so that you catch the intuition, what is to come. And on the basis of that, you take decisions in life. Intuition, discerning capacity, what is right, what is wrong. Flexibility, then changing yourself immediately. Focus, tolerance, and this cannot be taught. Nobody can teach you how to be tolerant. Nobody can teach you how to be flexible. It has to be tapped from within and brought out. So, these are the three prepositions. There is no turning back. We must find some new bearings, and different skills are required to be effective in the present environment. And therefore the aim for this is what we call as that we need to learn how to have more control on our own thoughts, feelings and behavior, because they get disturbed the most. Our thoughts turn negative, the feelings are negative, and then we start reacting through the behavior. The behavior becomes negative. So we need to control ourselves at that time in the changing scenario. And more than that, it is seen that to become a better leader through better self-understanding and the practical application of the spiritual knowledge and its principles. This is where actually spirituality can help us. It can guide us. It can become the compass for us and tell us whether we are taking the right direction or not. And more than that, to take a more personal responsibility of our own life and stop blaming others or circumstances. Normally, the tendency of human being is whenever anything happens in our life, what do we say? It was because of this person. It was because of this situation. It was because of these circumstances that my life has become like this. Now, the moment I point out my finger onto others, it was because of this. Means, I give my locus of control, the remote control in the hands of others and give them the permission that now you are free to disturb me anytime. This is how we give our remote control in the hands of others. Because we blame them. So, they can create any disturbances they want to whenever they want to. So stop blaming others. When did you learn this blame, putting the blame onto others? Where did you learn this from? Huh? Who taught us? You know, when we were kids, when we just learned to crawl, and then round about at the age of 2, we try to take the support of something and try to stand up like others. We want to stand up on our feet. But there is no balance at the bottom of our feet. So, what happens? We fall. And when the baby falls, what is the first thing the baby does? Huh? It won't cry first. First of all, it starts looking. Anybody has saw me or not? Very clever, very clever. So the first thing when a baby falls, what he does is looks all around. And supposing his eyes meet his mother's eye, he starts crying. No tears coming out. And he starts crying. And the mother will immediately rush. And what would the mother say? Lift the boy or the girl. And what will the mother say? It's not your fault. It's not your fault. This place is like that. The place is such. The place is such, it is not your fault. So, and the moment the mother says it's not your fault, it is this place which was not okay or is not level. That's why you fell. And then she would hit that. And the child would feel, now the blame has gone on to somebody. I'm protected, And then from there, it starts adopting this technique. Whenever anything happens throughout his life, he puts the blame onto others. When he grows up, he cannot cry. So what does he do? What does he do? He starts yelling. He starts shouting. So the other people will be quiet. And shouting. Shouting is what? A sort of crying. He's crying to prove himself, I did not do this. It was because of this that I fell down. Or it is because of this that this thing happened in my life. So shouting means crying. Trying to prove ourselves that we are innocent. So that whenever we shout, everybody starts shouting. And then they, yeah, you're right. He's the one, He's the culprit. So then I become, I take a deep sigh. Now the blame has gone on to somebody else. So since that day, when we were 2 years old, we learned this technique of putting the blame onto others. And throughout our life, we are coward in accepting the responsibility on ourselves. whatever is happening in my life is because of me, nobody else. So the golden rule here today is, if we really want to face the challenges of today's world,
Stop blaming others. Stop blaming others. There's something here.
It's your hand.
we need to take that responsibility that yes, whenever something happens, the golden rule is, whatever happens in my life, I am responsible for it. Somewhere, I am responsible. And if I have this courage to take up this responsibility, then we start changing ourselves from within, and we are ready to face those challenges to come in the future times. And so, to take up more personal responsibility of our own state of mind and emotions, because otherwise they are going to get disturbed first. So that we learn how to communicate better with people, and we are able to manage ourselves during the major life changes that are going to come. So this is the whole aim of the program. Now, it is said that when we are going through this scenario, the challenges are so great coming in today's world, there is always, be cautious of one family. Do not ever allow that family to enter your family. And which is that family? The first is misunderstanding. She is always first to enter anybody's life, right? But she's never alone. She's always accompanied by her companion, Mr. Doubt. Yes, wherever there is misunderstanding, Mr. Doubt follows. And where the two are there, therefore creation follow. The first creation is master jealousy, master hatred, master animosity, and fourth. Fourth is the national game of Zimbabwe. What is the national game of Zimbabwe? Anybody knows? In today's age, what is the national game of Zimbabwe? Football. In the present time. In the present time, which is played everywhere. In all the government offices. Huh?
Life.
Huh?
Leadership.
Which is played everywhere. Huh? Leg pulling. Leg pulling. Immediately anything happens, we start pulling the legs of others. So this is the family. And there is so much unity in this family. Maybe there is not that much of unity in your family, and it can break any relationship. And misunderstanding comes without our notice. It sneaks into our families. How? Are you ready to play an exercise? You do exercise? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, you have a paper and a pencil. Just draw a horizontal line. Draw a horizontal line. Draw a horizontal line. Any small piece of paper also if you have, take it out and just draw a line. If you don't have, draw it in your mind. Okay, you can draw it in your mind? Yes. So draw a horizontal line. Have you done that? Everyone? In your minds? Now, write the first and the last letter of your first name at each end. Write the first and the last letter of your first name at each end. Have you done that? Yes? Everybody? Okay. How many of you have written the first letter here and the last letter here? Just raise your hands. Those who have done in their minds also. Okay. How many of you have written first and last here, first and last here? Two letters. Anybody? No one. What did I say? What did I say? Write the first and the last letter of your first name at each end. Oh, so specific. Write the first and the last letter of your first name at each end. Did I say that? Yes? Yes? What happened? What happened? So how many do we have to write? First and last. So two letters? At each end? How many did you write? One. Why? Misunderstanding? And I told you beforehand, it's an exercise of misunderstanding.
But we thought you explaining.
Huh?
We thought you explaining.
What would I explain? It was a simple sentence. A simple sentence, write the first and the last letter of your first name at each end. Now I have a doubt. If a simple sentence can be misunderstood, whatever I speak for the next 2 hours, how much is it going to be misunderstood? Huh? Doubt will definitely come in my mind. Should it come or not? So where is the problem? On your side or my side?
Our side.
Are you sure? Are you sure? The problem is on your side? If everyone misunderstands, I can understand one or two can misunderstand me. But 100%, if everyone misunderstands, then there is some problem on my side. I don't know how to communicate. Huh? Is my English not good? You can't understand me? What? My English is not good? Huh? So where is the problem there? A simple sentence which has only one meaning, no two meanings also. Yes, in the world there are some sentences which has two meanings. Only one meaning, write the first and the last letter of your first name at each end. Simple as that. And none of you understood. How can my English be so poor? Huh? So, where is the problem? My side or your side? I will have to take up this responsibility. If nobody can understand or do a simple exercise right, then maybe whatever I am saying is not understood. Putting the blame onto others, you know. So, where is the problem? The problem is on both the sides. What happened? You like to know where the problem was? You like to know why all of you make the mistake? So that the whole family does not enter. We have to stop here, huh? So, when I was telling you, you are not listening to me. Because if you listen to me, my verbal communication was very clear. Write the first and the last letter of your first name at each end. My verbal communication was very accurate, no problem there. But when I was speaking, you are not listening to me. What were you doing? Line was over. And that's why I asked, everybody has drawn the line. After that I started. So the line was over. What were you all doing? What were you all doing? You were watching me. And what was I doing? I was very clear in my verbal communication, but my body language was communicating something else. Write the first and the last letter of your first name. And this misunderstood, created that misunderstanding in everyone. Because you're not listening to me, you are watching me, and this was misguiding you. Right? And this is what happens in practical life also. This exercise is a simple exercise, but to show you where we make mistakes in our lives. Supposing if I come after 1 hour and I say, have you done the exercise? You would say, yes, sister, we wrote 1 letter at each end. Then I would say, but I have said 2 letters at each end. You would say, no, sister, you said 1 letter. And there will be a debate. You may start to fight also. Because I would say, I was very clear in my mind what I wanted. I wanted 2 letters. And you would say, but every one of us is not an illiterate person here. We are all educated people. 1 or 2 can misunderstand. How can everyone misunderstand? And then majority wins. Even if you misunderstand, majority wins. This is what the law of today is. Where the majority goes, success is there. So even though you are wrong, you win. And at that time, to handle myself, when the other people are all wrong and you know what you have communicated was something else, but you are not able to prove yourself. This is the greatest challenge of the future times. Whatever you will be saying will be misunderstood by so many people. And this whole family will just creep in. And there will be fights, misunderstanding, misdoubt, jealousy, hatred, animosity, and then pulling legs of one another. So, in today's age, this is the challenge that we have to face in the coming future. Although we are right, we will be misunderstood by all, by majority. And you have nothing to prove yourself that what you said was something else, because time has passed by. Isn't it? So we have to be very cautious. So now the time is demanding something from us. And what is it demanding? Change. We need to change ourselves somewhere. Why we need to change ourselves? Because you cannot fight at that time to prove yourself. The problems. Supposing this is a problem. Every day we are facing new problems, new challenges. This is supposing a challenge or an event or a situation, circumstance. Whenever these problems come up, they demand something from the human being. So it demands a response from the individual. So whenever any problems come up, situations come up, any challenges come up, what do they demand? They demand a response from the individual. And at that time you are misunderstood. So there is irritation going on. So negative emotions are generated. Now these negative emotions which are generated, they influence the behavior. It influences the behavior. So this irritation, negative emotion, comes out from the behavior. So it comes out from here. We get angry. We behave in an angry manner. Now this behavior feeds into the problem. So will this problem get solved or will it get complexed? Huh? Will this problem get solved, resolved, or will it become more complicated? What will happen? More complicated. So the problem is there. So again it demands a response. You get more angry. Don't you understand simple things like this? So again it influences your behavior. And this time your behavior is more rude, more negative. Again it feeds into the problem, so making it more complicated. So once we enter into a vicious cycle, this is a vicious cycle. Once we enter into this vicious cycle, it is very difficult for us to come out of it. And this is how problem was very small. Gradually, it becomes complicated, 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 and then it becomes into a mountain. Therefore, it is said, molehills into mountains. Who made the molehills into mountains? We, because we did not know how to respond. So once it becomes a mountain, now, this is another challenge. When it becomes a mountain, how to resolve this? So we think, reflect, well, if I would have been a little peaceful, a little positive at that time, in the first incident, if I would have behaved well during that time, maybe the problem would have not gone so complicated. But now, we cannot be positive. Because if we be positive now, what will people say? People will laugh at me. See? Finally, he had to come down. So now my ego comes in between. And I cannot let my ego hurt. So to solve this problem, resolve this problem, we put in money. We have to put a lot of money, hire an advocate maybe. So we have to put money, time, energy, and find resources to resolve it. All is being spent. And after putting all of this, time, money, energy, and resources, still the problem is not resolved. So therefore it is said, instead of turning molehills into mountains, be wise in these times and change mountains into molehills. Mountains into molehills by positive, being positive. Why we have to be positive? There is an awareness everywhere. Even small children are telling their parents, when they see them stressed, what do they say? Be positive. Be positive. Why are you thinking negative? Why are you doing this? Don't your children tell you? Be positive. So the awareness is there. Because it is only by being positive that you are going to change mountains into molehills. So the choice is yours. What you want to do. Change or react. What do we want to do? Change. Time is demanding a change. Where to change? Going to affect at every level. From the self, mind, body, relationship, society, and total environment. It is a ripple effect that is going to affect everything. Therefore, I need to change. My mind will be affected, my body will be affected. Lot of problems because of stress. Society, my relationships with others. Environment, totally gets polluted. So everything is going to affect. Therefore, I need to change. But it reminds me of a beautiful story that once in the sea, there is a big ship, a warship in the sea, and it was going back to its destination, its homeland, and the seas were quite peaceful, quiet. After a very big turbulence that they had gone through, now they are returning back home safely. So on the warship there was a captain of the warship, battleship. So it was night time and the seas were quiet. So a captain said to one of his officers, "Can you just go up on the deck and see in which direction we are and put the ship back towards our homeland?" Because of the turbulence, the direction had changed. So the officer was very enthusiastic. He went up on the deck to change the direction. And he changed the direction, put it towards his homeland. But when he put the ship on the homeland, towards the homeland, and he took up the binoculars and was looking around, and he saw a light flashing right on the course that he had kept his ship. And flashing light means danger. So he comes down and he tells his captain, "Well, I've put the ship on the course, right course, but far at the end, I see a flashing light." So the captain said it must be another ship. It was flashing at us. So you send him a message that this is a warship and we have chosen this course for our ship. So please change 20 degrees. So the officer goes up again, sends the message to the ship, to the other flashing light. "Please, we have chosen this course for our ship, so change 20 degrees immediately." So the message comes, "Advisable for you to change 20 degrees." So when the captain got the message, he was mad. Asking a captain of a warship to change? Who is this guy? So he says, "Tell him, I'm the captain of a warship speaking, and change immediately 20 degrees. These are my orders." So a message comes back, "I'm a second-class officer, but still advisable for you to change 20 degrees. So this captain was furious. Who is this guy? Second-class officer, asking the captain of a warship to change. So he says, "This is a warship, it cannot change. Once it has chosen the course, it will stay on. So please change immediately 20 degrees. So then the message comes back again, "But I am a lighthouse, how can I change?" This is what happens. Every time we want others to change, we are never ready to change. We think we are someone great. We want others to change. They should change. When he came to know it's a lighthouse, and how can he change? He changed. But till then, he was like ordering, change, change. And this is what we also do sometimes. Change. You have to change. We have to change. Not knowing their capacity, whether they have the capacity to change or not. So, we always ask others to change. And not realizing. So, you would like to play a small game on change? Yes? Huh? Okay. So, please stand up. Please stand up and find a partner. Get into pairs. Get into pairs.
Come there.
So get into pairs. Everyone has got a partner? Is there anyone who doesn't have a partner? Anyone? So everyone has a partner? Kalpesh Bhai doesn't have a partner, okay? You can join Vijay Bhai.
Adam and Kalpesh.
Oh, hey, Adam is there. No? Come here. Come here. No, Adam Bhai is here. Okay, you have a partner, okay. Now, what I want you to do is face your partner and no noise. I'll give you 60 seconds, 1 minute. Okay? You don't have to worry about time. I'll tell you when to start and when to stop. Now what you have to do is observe your partner in silence from top to bottom. Very minute observation. Okay? What he has on him, you have to do a very minute observation. So, start. Stop. Now, turn around. Back to back with your partner. Turn around. 360 degrees. Okay? And without your partner knowing, bring about 3 changes on your physical appearance. Any change you can, any change on your physical appearance which your partner will have to identify. Bring about 3 changes on your physical appearance. Physical changes. I do not want any emotional changes or anything else. There are some valuable lessons that we'll be learning from this small game. So bring about 3 changes which your partner will have to identify. 3 changes on your physical appearance. And be creative in bringing the changes. Be creative. Bring about 3 changes. Three changes. Have you done? Everyone? Turn around, face your partner, find out the changes. Both have changed? So you have identified the changes? It was simple? Simple? You identified? Both of you have identified the changes? Or not? Yes? No, you are not able to identify what your partner changed? Huh? Not 3. How many? 1. Only 1. Okay. Okay, is it only 1? No, 3 changes I said. You have to follow my instruction. You know? So, if your partner has not identified, you can show them what changes you have brought on you. Tell your partner what is the changes that you have brought. Okay, now you have showed your partner the changes? Yes. Now don't change them back. Keep them as they are. Don't change them back. Keep them as they are. The 3 changes that you have done, very good. So keep them as they are, don't change them back. Now turn around, again back to back with your partner and bring about 4 more changes. Don't touch the first 3 changes. Don't touch the first 3 changes. Keep them as they are. Bring about 4 more changes. 4 more changes on your physical appearance. And be creative in bringing about the changes. Be creative. So you have identified the changes? What your partner has done? Huh? It was easy this time? More vivid? Yes? Okay. Now you have 7 changes on you. Let's see your capacity to change, how much you can change and how much you can be creative in bringing about the change. Okay, so now turn around, keep the changes as they are. Don't touch them. 7 changes, you have them on you. Turn around, back to back with your partner. Now, bring about 6 more changes. 6 more changes. 6 more changes. Now, why are you all standing? Change. Huh? You don't have any changes now? Nothing to do? No?
If we change anymore, we won't exist.
Okay, if you change anymore, you can't exist. Okay, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Now, how was the game? Huh? Did you like the game? Yes. Okay. There were some valuable lessons in this game.
Change. Observe.
Huh? So, what did you learn from this game? What? Change is difficult. Okay. What else? Yes?
Observe.
Observing is, we have to have very minute observation. Okay. Anything else you learned from this game? Yes?
Change. Takes time.
Change takes time. Okay. Anything else?
Frustrating to change.
Frustrating. After some time it was frustrating. Anything else? Let me ask you some questions from this small game. Now, when I asked you in the first place that observe your partner very minutely from top to bottom for 1 minute, 60 seconds. How did you find those 60 seconds? Too long or very short?
Too long.
Too long. Why?
Because we take them very lightly. Because we know each other. We feel
Okay. Why? Because you are fearing what your partner is observing you? Huh? any defects you have on your physical appearance or anything. Did you have the fear?
Yeah.
Anxiety inside?
Not at
You don't know what your partner is observing you. Very minutely. Okay? So because there was no information given about the game. And I asked you, do you want to play the game? You said yes. And you jumped into it. I said, stand up. You stood up. Nobody asked me, what is the game? Can you explain the rules of the game? Can you explain what the game is about? Nobody asked me. And I thought, because you said yes and you jumped into it, means you knew the game. So no information. So you did not know what you are observing. What you have to observe from your partner. So, when I asked you to bring about 3 changes, it was easy? Huh? And you took out some things from maybe from this pocket, put it in this pocket, took it out from here, put it this side. Huh? Changing places. Huh? From here to here. And every time I was mentioning, be creative in bringing about the changes. No one was creative. You just change places of things. You just change places of things. So first round, 3 changes was easy. But when I asked you the second round, don't touch the first 3 changes and now bring about 4 more changes. Then it was getting a little bit difficult. Because you felt as if you are short of resources. So, anyhow, you did 4 changes. And you completed that round. Again, some things from here, there you changed. Maybe you did not change 4 things, 3 things, 2 things. Somebody did not do anything. No? I was observing from here. Because you are short of resources. And in the 3rd round, when I asked you to bring about 6 changes, you won't exist. Huh? Mr. Jayesh won't exist. He had no resources. And every one of you felt the same thing. That now, we cannot take out everything. Huh? So you felt that you have no resources left now to change, and that is enough. Enough for change. We have had enough. This was the feeling. But let me ask you, how many of you exchanged things with your partner was not watching you, but you had many around you who was also playing the same game? Did any one of you swap things with one another? That was also a change. Huh? You swap things with other people? No, why not? That was also a change. Why didn't you swap things with others? Huh? You would have a lot of resources. You took somebody from this person, somebody from, and you could have created a team spirit. And you had so much of resources. Why didn't you exchange things with one another? No trust that we'll get it back or not. Huh? Why? Because you would say, I didn't tell you. I didn't give you the permission. But I thought you knew the game. That's why immediately you started off. Okay. Now, I had asked you to change 7 things. And you did that, isn't it? Just look at yourself. How many changes are still remaining? Every time I mention, don't change them back. Don't change them back. Leave them as they are. Keep them as they are. What happened? Why did you change back?
We thought the game was over.
No, I just asked you to sit down. The game is not over yet. The game is not over yet. Why? Why you change them back? You are not comfortable. Just imagine the changes you brought. If you are not comfortable yourself, how are you others going to be comfortable with your change? And that is why I asked, be creative. And I saw that sister put her shoes on the head. She put her shoes. One of the brothers, some things, the ladies, they had things properly. They changed it in such a way to look differently. And they were not looking good in that. The change that they had brought, they were not looking good in that. I did not ask you to spoil things. I did not ask you to spoil your physical appearance. I just asked you to be creative in bringing about the changes. That was not creative because you were not comfortable. So immediately you change back. Right? So whenever we want change to happen, there are three things that we need to have. We need to have the knowledge of what to change, when to change. Anyone you ask them to change, the first question they would ask is, why? Why should I change? You have to give a full information. What the change process is about. So what to change and why to change. That means clear information is needed about the process. Without clear information, it would not be accurate. Nobody would enjoy the game. People would start feeling, oh, what, 3 changes, 4 changes, 6 changes, how many? How many times are we going to go and change? So after 2 rounds only it gets boring. Because you did not have the clear information of what to change and why you have to change. The second ingredient that we need for change is the desire. So the desire was there in every one of you. Everyone stood up. Desire was there, but no clear knowledge. So the want to change was there, but why to change? You had no information. And therefore, the skills were not there. How to change? You are not doing it accurately. You are spoiling yourself. Your physical appearance was getting spoiled. So it was not a creative change. I did not ask you to spoil your physical appearance. The physical appearance should look good, isn't it? So the desire was there, but because the information was not there, the skills were not there. And so in 2 rounds only, you got tired, short of resources. So whenever we want to bring about changes, all the 3 has to be there. Now remember, whenever anyone asks you to change, you try to get the full information first. Because the desire is there, but if you don't have the full information, whatever you are going to do is just going to spoil your work. It will not improve, right? So, the lessons that we learn, 7 lessons we learn from this small game. And the first lesson that we learn, when I ask you to observe your partner in silence for 1 minute, you felt awkward, ill at ease, and self-conscious. Why? Because make sure people are properly informed before you begin any change process. If the people are not fully informed, then although they have the desire, they cannot cooperate. In 1 or 2 rounds, they will get tired and that's it, finish. So the first lesson is that make sure people are well informed so that they don't feel awkward, ill at ease, and self-conscious. The second lesson that we learn from this is In the first round, when we ask people to change, they think of giving up. Okay, remove this, remove the watch, remove the specs, remove the pen, we've changed. So something to give up. Now change does not mean to give up. So we have to change this consciousness. Change does not mean that we have to give up, renounce, let go. No. Change means something we need to gain, something we can adopt too. No? So we have to break this psychological barrier. Change means to renounce, change means to sacrifice, change means to give up. No, change means to gain. We are going to gain something from that change. So be positive about change. Don't think change is ugly. Change is boring. Change has limitations. Change has a limit. No, it has no limits. We are going to gain from this process. So always think about the gain. Gain. What are you going to gain from it? If not anything, you will gain a valuable lesson. You'll gain a valuable lesson through that process. You may learn some new techniques which you can adopt for the future times, right? So change is not giving up, it is something we are going to gain. The third lesson that we learn is people are at different levels of readiness for change. In the third round, when I said 6 changes, in the second round itself only, when I said 4 changes, people started looking at one another. What is this? What is this? Huh? So everyone was at a different level. Some wanted to play, some did not want to play, some sat down also. What is the use? Huh? There's nothing benefit, no creativity. So people are at different level of readiness for change because make sure people realize that the old way is no longer going to work. You will be short of resources. How many things are you going to change from one place to another place? And you don't have to touch the first 3. So in the next round, you don't have anything to change. Places. Give up. Nothing. So make sure that the old way is no longer going to work. Something new has to be done. The fourth lesson that we learn is everyone was going through the same process. Everyone was changing, but we did not swap from one another. Why? Although everyone was going through the same process, we could have exchanged things. Why? We didn't do that. No information. That is why we did not do that. If everyone would have started exchanging things with one another, you had ample of resources. You can play this game for 1 hour and it will become a very interesting game because a team spirit would have been created. Everyone would be. But this is what happens. When everyone is going through the same process, still we think I am the only one changing, nobody else is changing. So how much can I change? Everyone is going through the same process. It's not only you. So when people will feel alone, even if everyone is going through the change, why? Because our thinking is such. So help people to readjust their way of thinking. You are not the only one. Facing the challenges, you are not the only one. Many times people get angry. Every time I have to face this, I have to do this, I am going through this, why I have to do this? Everyone is going through the same process. Whom are you getting angry upon? Let us help one another. Let us understand one another. At that time, if misunderstanding comes up, then what happens? Can you imagine? It will ruin your life maybe. So, help people to readjust their way of thinking. This is part of normal life. Everyone is facing challenges in today's age. Everyone. And so, let us help one another. Let us create a team spirit. The fifth lesson that we learn is, people will be concerned that they do not have enough resources. So in the third round you gave up. Sorry, we cannot change any further. It is impossible. So be sensitive to the feelings of the people. Respect those who resist change. There are probably good reasons. I can't force. No, even if you can't change, you have to change. I can't force. We have to be sensitive to the feelings of the people. Understand them. Fear, what? Retaliation, maybe. Isn't it? So, this sixth lesson that we learn is, then people will say, this is all we can handle. We can't do further than this. So permit people to set their own goals. If I would have said, bring about one change, whatever you can, be creative in that, you would have done a very good change, which would have still remained. You would also like that change, you would have not changed back. But because I was demanding 3 changes, 4 changes, 6 changes, maybe 8 changes after that, you can't demand. So there will be a resistance. So permit people to set their own goals, how much they can, because everybody's capacity is different. We cannot use the same thing for everyone. Everyone's understanding is different, everybody's maturity is different, everybody's capacity to change is also different. So let them set their own goals, how much they can do, and that will be more creative maybe. And the 7th lesson is, people will revert back to the old behavior when the pressure is removed. I asked you to just sit down, so the pressure is removed, and what happened? Change back. So this is what is, so that change was not permanent. It was not permanent. So don't try to change people. Give them the information, the inspiration, and let them change themselves. What we have to do is give information and inspiration. Many times we are trying to change our children, we are trying to change our people at home, do this, do that. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It is always going to create problems. The problems will increase, it will not decrease. And when the problems increase, then I'm burnt out of energy. No relaxation of mind, isn't it? So don't try to change people. Give them the information and let them change themselves. Let them feel that process. So the different responses to change, whenever we talk about change, then there are different responses. And which are the responses? There are some type of people who will resist. I'm sorry, I cannot do any further. The second type of people who will try to run away from the changes. The third type of people who would just ignore. Let him say, there is no need for me to change. The fourth type of people who deny directly on your face, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And the fifth type of people who embrace change. And they are the ones who open the doors of new opportunities for others also. Because whatever they do it with proper understanding. They do it with their intuition. And so they are able to go about with it very accurately, in a creative way. Just see which type of people are we. Because we saw all type of people here. There are some who are resisting. First round they do, second round they started resist, third round they resist. Second who tried to just escape, sat down, I can't change, can't do enough. Some people ignored and some people denied, and the fifth people who embraced change were there. In the third round also there were some who were willing to change, isn't it? Still, you had this thought, we shall do it, 6 changes. We have the capacity. So 1 or 2 were having this, they wanted to go for it. But then because everyone said no, so okay, let us be quiet. So these are the 5 types of responses that people will normally show whenever you ask them to change. Why do people resist? There are reasons why they resist. The first reason is fear of the unknown. We don't know what our physical appearance may become like. So fear of the unknown. People will start laughing at us. How can we do this? So fear of the unknown. The second reason for resisting is loss of competence. People will think, oh, this person cannot do this much also. So loss of competence. The third is lack of understanding of the consequences. After this, what will happen? We don't know. What will be the comments of people? We don't know. So lack of understanding of the consequences. The fourth reason is lack of trust in the leaders who is asking you to change. What does this person know? The ego comes in between. What does this person know? Asking us to change, and the person himself is not doing anything. How does he know what we are going through? Not real syndrome. Some people feel that this is just a game, so nothing. No need for us to do something. No need to do. So not real syndrome. Then threat to the values. Maybe I will have to compromise my values for this process, for this change. So that is why they resist. Lack of information, which was there, we saw, and may really be worse off from what we are. So it is better not to bring about any changes. So, the last is unpleasant past experience with change. So that is why people are not willing to change in their lives. So these are the reasons why people do not wish to change. So, reactions to change. The 5 types of people we saw: those who resist, ignore, deny, and embrace. So what are their reactions? The first type of reaction and the result. Those who ignore the necessity for change, what will happen to them? They are run over by the changes. They are run over by the changes. Change takes over, and then there is frustration. The second type of people who accept the necessity but have a fear of leaving their status quo. What will people say about my status? This person doing these things? They live uselessly in the past because they are not willing to change. Except they know that they have to change, but they have that status. What will people say? So they live uselessly in the past. The third type of people accept the necessity and pretend to change. What happens to them? They deceive the self and create problems for others also. Because all those who are connected to them, then they are in problem. So they create problem for others. The fourth type of people who accept but don't know because they don't have the information. So they don't know how to go about it. They commit many mistakes in the name of change. They commit many mistakes in the name of change. And the fifth type of people who embrace, accept, analyze them well, and carry out a step-by-step plan. What happens to them? They survive the change and open the way for others to follow. So they become the leaders and others are followers. So these are the 5 types of people and their results, what happens to them. And then there is beautifully said, holding on to the old and trying to establish the new means twice the work. What do we understand by this? All of you might have seen circus. Have you seen the circus? Every one of you seen the circus? In the circus, what happens that there are some trapezers, There are strings on the top. They let go of the string. The actors, they climb. Those who are performing, they climb the ladder on a string. They go up. And there is a stand. They stand there and the rope comes down with a rod in between. And then they swing from this end to the other end. And then from the other end, another rod comes. And in between, what they have to do? They have to change this rod. So they jump, let go of this rod, hold on to that rod and swing on that. Another rod comes, they jump onto that, let go of this, and this is how they entertain people. And people clap for them. Isn't it? You all enjoy when you see the trapezes. Now seeing them, the joker in the circus, what does he do? He also thinks, let me go up. So he starts climbing that ladder. He also gets there and he holds onto that rod and he swings. But he does not know how to change. So when the other rod comes, he let go of this and can't hold on to that. What happens? He falls down and people laugh at him. So he feels, let me try again. This time I'm going to do it. So again climbs up, takes that rod, swings. When the other rod comes, he catch hold of that, but he's not willing to let go of this. So again people laugh at him. Because he's in the middle and he's not entertaining people. So the entertainment is when changing the rods. If there is no change, we are like the jokers. Holding on to the old, we want to catch hold of that also, catch the new also, and we are like the jokers. People start laughing. What is this person doing? Or then, seeing others, we let go of this and can't adapt to that also, the new also. Then also people laugh at us. So it is double the effort. So we do not have to become like the jokers. We have to become like those entertainers who really, the only art they have, the art is changing of rods, and they do it so beautifully, like they are swinging. It is so easy for them, and they look beautiful in that changing. So life is always beautiful when we know how to adapt with change. So this is what time is demanding from us. In order to face the challenges, we need to be flexible. We need to bring about change. Then it will be very good. And so, starting from the inside out, there are two circles. One is the circle of influence, where I have my influence, and the other is the circle of concern, which is the outer circle. Circle of concern is not in my hands. Government policies, global competition, economic recession, all this is not within my control, but it is concerned with my life. Something that I have is my circle of influence, which is my values, my beliefs, my vision, my attitudes, my assumption. But when I allow the circle of concern to take over, it starts pressurizing, and then we generate a reactive focus where negative energy waves are produced, and it affects our circle of influence also, making it more and more smaller and smaller. So our capacity becomes very limited. We cannot change the circle of concern, definitely, but there is something we can do, and that is being open-minded and increase our circle of influence. When I increase my inner circle, I can reduce the gap, and that is when I produce a proactive focus. That is, positive energy increases my circle of influence. Otherwise, what the external circle is saying, that is going to contract my inner circle, and sometimes I'll become handicapped or helpless. And I feel I'm the only one left. No one is standing by my side. So increase, there is something you can do, positive. Increase your inner circle of influence. Increase your values, visions, increase the capacity of your belief system. Don't hold on to those old things. Keep your mind open. Then you will be effective in bringing about the change in your life. So when you are proactive focus on things you have direct control within your influence, so increase that, expand that. Then the circle of concern will not be able to affect you, will not be able to create stress in you. Otherwise, the reactive focus, when we keep on blaming people, situation, whatever is happening, and dependent or to be subject on the external situations and circumstances, means I am helpless. I am handicapped. I can't do anything. This is our complaint. I can't do this. It is not within my capacity, and we'll be left alone. So, for any change process, today I'll give you a formula. And the formula is, whenever you want change to happen, the formula is A plus B plus D should be greater than X. This is the formula. Now what is A, B and D? Because C is change. A, B, C, D. So C, change can only take place when A plus B plus D is greater than X. A here means acceptance of the need to change. So A is accepting, yes, I need to change. B is the belief in the ability to succeed. Yes, I can do it. Accepting and believing in yourself, yes, I can do it. Nothing is impossible. And then D is desirability of the future state, which should be perfect. It should not be something which is undesired. It is desirable. And all these three components within me has to be greater than X, that is cost of changing. So whatever I do, whatever I use, the resources, whatever I have, money, time, energy, resources, this is the cost of changing. So these three things has to be greater than X. Time, money, energy and resources. Then the time will be worthwhile, the money will be worthwhile, nothing will be a waste, and change will be perfect. So change can only happen when, remember this formula, A plus B plus D, acceptance. A means acceptance of the need to change. Yes, it is need for me to change. B is belief in the self. Yes, I can do it. Nothing is impossible. I should not hold on to the old. I should bring about some change and I'll be successful in it. So, belief in the ability to succeed. And D is desirable of the future state, which is going to be, yes, beautiful. Don't think, oh, if I do this, I don't know what will happen. Don't have any doubts. whatever you visualize for yourself, that should be your perfect vision. So the vision should be perfect, desirable. And if you hold on to that vision, you will succeed definitely. Then the time, money, energy, resource that you spend is going to be used in a worthwhile way. It will bring returns to you. It will bring profit to you. It will bring benefit to you. It will not be a waste. But if these three things are not there, then whatever you adopt, any change, it's going to be a waste of time, waste of energy, waste of money, and waste of resources. And then nobody can help you.
In my life, maybe I'm doing something so that maybe I can be someone else in life.
Yeah.
So then my wife comes and says that this doesn't work, so and so. Then there comes a misunderstanding.
No, what happens, you need to make clear the information. We saw the three things, three ingredients: information, desire, and skills. So information has to be given clear. Make it clear. No human being is such that they don't understand. First, you have to make clear in front of them what you want to do in your life, what is it that, and how she can support you. So then the desire will come up. If the information is not there, the desire to cooperate will not be there. And the skills will not be there, that she will be able to cooperate in the right method. And then there is resistance, and when the resistance is there, what happens? Misunderstandings are created. So it is first ingredient which is very important, and that is information.
Yeah, true, but
Knowledge.
But some people are just difficult.
Huh? Some people are just difficult. Huh? Actually, try it out. Sometimes it may work. Don't take it for granted that they don't understand. Maybe you have to put it in a different way. It is not that they don't understand, but they have some of their own views, their past experience. As we saw, the reasons why people resist, some past experience, not real syndrome. So they are trying to hold on to something, or they are holding on to something. You need to explain to them in a different way maybe, so that they understand. And then they may cooperate. Right? Yes. Okay. What else? But sometimes we project them in such a way, they are not going to cooperate. They are not going to understand. They are not going to help me. If I think negative, what will happen? You saw this? The problem is there. You want to change. But that problem is demanding a response. And you are thinking negative. They can't understand, they can't change, they can't. So you behave in a very rude manner. So what happens? More problems. There you are. What else? Any other questions? No? Yes?
Yes, I have another question. How could change be environmentally friendly? Looking at issues like change may not be drastic. Maybe it should be gradual.
Yes, definitely. Gradual, creative. You have to go gradually. You cannot bring drastic changes and then you find yourself in a problem. So go gradually, feel the pulse. Feel the pulse of the environment and gradually go. And you will succeed. This is where your intuition has to be there. So that's why I said in the first, different skills are required in the present times. Because there is no turning back. You must find some new bearings and different skills are required. Right? Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. We end this session here with 2 minutes of silence, and then you'll get some sweets and a blessing card. The blessing card would be always like some inspiration for you for the future times. So don't go without that. And our brother here has some good news that if you want to learn something more, we have the meditation course also, which will be starting from Monday, I believe, and he will inform you the address and the timings. So Gunawan Bhai, you can come forward and give the information. So that those who would like to go through the course, you can take up the course also. Meditation helps us to develop our internal focus very clear. It clears off the confusion in our mind and it gives us a very clear focus where we can have a clear vision in our minds. Okay? So that.
Good evening.